The McShin Foundation is Virginia's leading peer-to-peer recovery community organization. So if you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, let us get you connected. Build your self-esteem and lead you to a solid foundation in your recovery. Check us out.
I look forward to what he got to say here tonight. You ready?
Yeah, man.
You all wired up?
Yeah.
All right, big hand for Walter.
Yeah. My name is Walter, and I'm in long-term recovery. So I'm still in that process, so y'all pray me through. But it's this text I'm going to read before I get started. It's found in Romans 13. And it reads, "Let every soul be subjected unto the higher power, for there is no power but of God. The power that are ordained of God." And I love that text. You know, I belong to a 12-step program. It's not a religious program. You know, it's a spiritual program. But after being broken and torn and beat up from the ground up, you know, it was people like you, you know, who poured something in me, and you guys were the power. You know, it wasn't the power that was talked about in that text I just read. It was you guys. You guys was a power greater than me. You know, and y'all told me I could find myself, you know, being, you know, a part of a 12-step program if I were to practice those steps. You know, and I tell you, man, it was people like, you know, Moses, man, I love you, man. You know, I was clean, man, and I use the word was clean for like 2.5 years. And I had collapsed. You know, y'all say I relapsed, but I really wasn't working the program. You know, I did have a little starter kit, you know, the girlfriend, the jewelry, the car, you know, the Oxford house, you know, the little starter kit. You know, so I was well on my way, you know, but I collapsed, you know, and I went to my grand sponsor that time, man, and he told me, he said, "Look, man, you know, you don't have any felonies." And that was one of the, look, man, I did everything to get one. I'm telling you, man. So it won't no doing of mine. It was that power, you know, that has something for me. You know, so I did everything to get one. But he said, maybe you'll want to go back to school. I mean, I could see you being a city councilman or something, because I didn't have a felony. You know, but I knew I needed to be around some sharp people. You know, we call them our predecessors, but I know iron sharpeth iron. You know, and I need to learn to listen and listen to learn. And he told me at that time, you know, so y'all could blame this on him because I took a suggestion. You know, I went back to school. You know, I went to church. You know, I did all those things that I wasn't doing when I was just absent and in recovery and had my little starter kit, man. You know, and over the last 23 years, you know, I've been clean now. You know, after the relapse, I've been clean for 23 years. You know, taking on some of those suggestions, you know, people who was here, you know, before me, like Marshall, you know, Denise, you know, I'm hey, man, y'all, if I'm breaking the anonym and I ain't supposed to do that, just shoot me later. But y'all asked me to come, you know, and these are the power, John, man, you know, Mike, these are the power, you know, that put me together, you know, to who I am today. You know, I went to church. You know, and I've been committed to the same church for the last 23 years, and they had a program, you know, at the church, you know, and the guy who was running the program, you know, he couldn't stop drinking, you know, but they needed somebody to run the program, you know, and the pastor of that church, he believed in me, you know, he believed all the behaviors I was practicing, but he did believe I wasn't drinking and using drugs. He believed that, you know, and that because you guys taught me how to keep that arrested. You know, and my recovery was possible, you know, and just going back to school and educating myself, man. I stayed in that church, you know, and just recently they ordained me and licensed me, you know, as an elder in the church. You know, just my consistency, man. You know, but even taking on some suggestions y'all told me, man. I mean, look, it took me 16 years, but I went back to school and I stayed in school, you know, and I have an associate degree in human service because y'all told me to go back to school. You know, and with that, I took the state board test, you know, and then I had my CSAT because y'all told me to go back to school, And y'all didn't tell me to stop, so I'm still in school now. But I'm going to graduate this May the 11th. I'm going to graduate with my master's degree in divinity. And this is stuff y'all told me to do, man. And doing what y'all suggested, with all those experience, the 3 marriages that I'd been divorced 3 times. And, some guy in here, he ain't here today, but he a part of the program. He asked me to do his wedding. You remember, John? You walked on and saw me walking in the robe doing the wedding. But I'm licensed. I went back to school. I got my license. I'm ordained. I could do that. So being in recovery, those things that I looked at those guys in the pulpit, we call preachers, the stuff they was doing, and some of them still drinking. I'm not. But that's because this is what y'all have put in me. So I can actually practice these principles in all my affair. I don't have to be the jack-led preacher, who up for money. I really want to pour into somebody's life, because that's what y'all have done for me, man. Actually going back to school, not too good in my reading and comprehending, and y'all told me to get a tutor. So I got the tutor, and so I was able to get some degrees and some certifications and some state board license. And I didn't mess up when I didn't say I didn't have a bachelor's degree. I had a lot of equivalent experience. So when I went to the school of theology, I had a couple of letters and the work that I have done in the recovery community. So I didn't need a bachelor's degree. I'm going to graduate with my master's, man. This program, being in long-term recovery and taking on suggestions, if I choose to today, I could create my own business. If I choose to today, I'm slow rolling. I'm getting a feel of it. I guess you could say, I don't know the exact word to use, so I'm not going to create a word in this moment. But it has been other agency that has asked me to come in, and do workshops and do individual counseling, with the community, with our community. And they pay. Matter of fact, I start tomorrow, John, with you. I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm coming here, and doing some one-on-one work. And there's a little stipend. We got to talk about that, John. It's a little stipend in it for me. But I'm not paying for this. It's like, just people just want the service, that's being provided, man. And that's because what you have done for me. It's not what I have done for you. Y'all told me I only could keep it by giving it away. So someone before me, like my predecessors, man, who encouraged me, to go back to school, because I struggled with the school. I failed 9th grade 3 times. I really couldn't comprehend, man. Even sometimes today, and just sitting in the meeting. If I'm reading Living Clean, A Journey Continue, I got to open up the book and I got to count how many people or who read it and make sure I read a paragraph and check the words and make sure I can pronounce those words before I because I still have that insecurity when it comes to being called on opposed to prepared to. I'm in a 12-step program that I do stuff repetitiously. So I know who's an addict, why we heal, what is it not causing them. So if you call me on that, I'm good, but I still struggle in certain areas, so I have to take care of myself, and don't depend on you to take care of me, so certain things that I have to do, in long-term recovery. And that's why I identify as long-term recovery, because I never get to that point that I am recovered, and I keep myself, grounded. Around you people, man, because y'all blessed me, man. I'm excited, of what God is doing, even in honesty, and asking me and calling me and hearing something about Walter just to come to present myself. I'm excited in relationship, with the God of my understanding. Not so caught up in religious, because we could sit in the same setting and talk about the same God. We may call him by different names, but it's how we understand it and how he works in our life. And then he works in my life as a way that I can relate to the people. Think about it. I've been in 3 divorces. Now I'm doing marriage counseling. That got to be God. You know what I mean? Come on, man. I smoke Coke. I smoke Cheerios. I thought it was Coke. I smoke pieces of soap. Now I'm doing drug counseling. That got to be God. That's the only one who have that great sense of humor that can find somebody like me and say, I got some use for you. I give you back to your people. So look, man, y'all, thank y'all for having me and just listening to something that God gave me.